So, hi guys, welcome back to Overtime Heroics MMA. I'm Martin Hallam and I'm joined today by Reece McEwan. How you doing, Reece?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Living the dream, as I was saying off air as well. So we'll kick off and get started. So, Reece, you're ready to make your third pro fight. It's next weekend. That's feels like it's just came out of absolutely nowhere. Via a fellow undefeated fighter. And this is where I butcher names here, so you'll get a good laugh. Kurban Kriev, is that? Anyway, so how you feeling?
I hope he doesn't pull out, because otherwise...
So how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Training's going well. I'm excited for the fight. Counting down the sleeps at this point, to be honest. Can't wait. I won't be trying to name my opponent, but that's for sure.
So you just at that point of camp now where training's starting to come to an end, you're just kind of winding down and getting ready for the cup?
Yeah, it's last couple of hard sessions this week, and then it's basically just like you said, resting, getting that recovery in, and your attention kind of turns to making weight and recovering and resting, and then it's fight time. So
because you've been doing a lot of work with Cameron Nicol,
yeah,
who's also he's got a grappling match.
Yeah, he's defending his under 90 kilo belt on the same night that I'm fighting. So it's been good to kind of have him in the fight camp, so to speak. But I've been working with Cameron for about the past 17, 18 months in terms of my strength and conditioning, and he's a great coach and an even better grappler.
Because do you feel working alongside Cameron as well that your game is improving every session?
No, of course. Like previously, for strength and conditioning, I've been doing strength and conditioning since my second fight, and it's always been one of those ones where I've been like, it's been like fight camp blocks. Like, right, I've got a fight, I better get my strength and conditioning block sorted. Whereas maybe in the past 18 months, I've taken it a little bit more. I've committed myself to it a lot more. Where it's part of my training schedule now, and that's paying off. So it's no longer just a temporary fight camp thing anymore. It's a full-time commitment. It's part of my schedule.
Yeah, because that's something that you're always quite vocal about. Like, you're quite vocal that you're not just in camp, like 7 weeks over so many months. Like, you dedicate you're always in camp essentially, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm always training. I'm always doing the right things. I'm always making the right decisions. Always going to always turn up to the gym, try to get better, and outside the gym, making it a lifestyle. I get a lot of praise for that, and I do appreciate the praise, but I kind of not brush it off my shoulders. But it's essentially what my job is. That, like, my job is I'm a professional athlete. I'm not an amateur anymore, so I should be applying myself as a professional. So when it comes to fights, there should be, oh, I need to get this in place. Or when I look back in anything, it's not about like, I wish I applied myself a wee bit more in this field. It's not that. I'm a professional athlete, and my day-to-day life should be the life of a professional athlete.
That is a great way to look at it, to be fair, and that will keep you in good stead, especially with how things are going at the moment, because it seems that shows are coming up very short notice.
Well, yeah, like, see, like before, and I actually made this point to Cameron last week. So I've obviously got this show on the 7th of August, but I've heard that there's another show in like 5 weeks after that, right? And when you're training for a fight, you almost like prepare for the worst sometimes. Like, your opponent's pulled out, can't get you a fight, and you kind of play these things in your head. So you work out, like, worst case scenario, what happens if that happened. And like, so worst case scenario, my fight got put back 5 weeks. See, the old me would have been like, oh my goodness, I've been dieting, I've been doing this and I've been doing that for this fight. I can't do that. Like, I can't mentally deal with this being put back 5 weeks. Whereas I thought, see that happened, worst case scenario, obviously I don't want it to, but if it does, my life wouldn't really change. I would still be eating the same things. I would still be committing myself in the gym and outside the gym. It's all that changes is the date. And I feel like that mindset and that approach makes you ready for any fight opportunity, because you have to always be. We've not had fight shows for the past 11 months, so now that they're coming in, I have to be ready for it, and nothing has to change. It's just the day that you're fighting, literally.
And is the corner to him rubs, like the meat rubs, are they helping you?
Yeah, I wouldn't make weight without those food rubs. I couldn't diet without them. So if you're looking to have a healthy lifestyle, you need going to food rubs.
I was going to wait and see how long we could go without chucking it in there, but if you haven't already, you should buy Reese's coffee. It's one of the best kind of natural kind of pre-workouts. So
If you go on my Instagram, you'll see the Conatone brand Instagram, and you can check out the website and check out the social media for yourself. We've got some coffee and food rubs, and you can try for yourself, and not only take my word for it or your word for it, but experience it for yourself.
Just all three of your kind of pro fights now, they've all come under the banner of Evolution of Combat. So what is it about that promotion that just keeps you coming back?
They want me. No, they're a great promotion, and they're run by great guys, and I don't really know. They seem to want me on the shows, and they make an effort to put me on the shows, and I feel that I get them lots of tickets, and it's a good relationship, to be honest, a good working relationship. So my last two fights, this will be my third fight in Evolution of Combat, and just happens to be back to back. But I appreciate them. They've given me an opportunity to fight, and that's pretty much.
Because they seem a very well run organisation. See, especially from a fan's perspective, like they're kind of the pay-per-view model was quite good.
No, they're definitely very well, and I think that's because they're run by like someone like Dan Hope, who was a professional fighter himself. So someone like Dan, for instance, like me personally, I'm motivated to like sell tickets and put on a show for him, because he, as a promoter, like he gets it. He understands it from our perspective, and he's not many promoters are out there for like their own reasons, but like I said, like Dan's a great guy. Evolution of Combat's a great promotion, and they get it. They're fighters that are running a show, so it's great to fight for them, to be honest.
And it's always, I always feel, see, as a fan, it's always great to see so many different disciplines under the one banner. Like,
yeah, I like that as well.
But see the way one championship do it, where like 1 minute you're watching grappling, the next minute you're watching Muay Thai with 4-ounce gloves, and then you're watching MMA. I just feel that's amazing, and that's something I really like about Evolution of Combat as well. Because see, especially for a lot of the grapplers, like the BJJ guys, it's good to see them kind of get like an actual fight in the cage. Like, although it's like a grappling match, the same as being a match.
It gives them good exposure, because I would say like grappling matches don't tend to have like the predominantly in a competition environment, so it's spectators that are like family, friends of people that are watching. So you don't typically, in the grappling matches that I've competed in, you don't typically have a large crowd, whereas these there will be a large crowd, and that builds exposure for them. And for me personally, like I'm fighting alongside Cameron, so I'm able to go and watch him retain his belt and put on a performance, and then take that energy and take that inspiration onto my own fights.
How are you feeling as well? Because this is, to my recollection, this is the first MMA event in Scotland that's had fans for
about 17 months. I think the last one was on top last February, or last March. So I said to you before about like fighting in front of no crowd, and how you prepare for that, and just like the visualization and the mental preparation that goes into that. Now that we've got crowds in, it's a different form of mental preparation and visualization, because now you have to prepare for the heat, the sound of that crowd, and the fact that we're having crowds honestly gives me butterflies, because I honestly can't wait for it. And to be one of the first shows, the first show in Scotland since the lockdowns happened and closed door events started, it's makes me proud.
Yeah, and it must just be great to have like your friends and your family back to support you as well. Like they get to give back to you.
Oh, it's ridiculous, because I almost feel like I've not that I forgot. It's not that I forgot. I feel like I forgot how amazing this makes me feel. Like, see the last fight, obviously I was excited for the fight and it was a buzz, but see having that extra incentive and that extra piece of like motivation that people are coming to watch your fight, and it's almost like you can't wait to put on a show for everyone, because that's what it's all about. We're prize fighters at the end of the day. Like, it's a fight, it's an entertainment business, and that it gives me some buzz. Someone messaging looking for tickets, or people messaging saying can't wait for the fight, I can't wait to be there, and I'm like, well, I can't wait to fight in front of you. So it's very exciting.
We'll move on to a question about your opponent now. Like, your opponent hasn't fought since 2015, so he's not fought in 6 years, and this is the first time that he's ever fought on UK soil. Like, how do you prepare for that? Because there's not a lot of knowledge out there of this guy. There's obviously not a lot of footage. So how do you prepare?
So for me personally, like, it doesn't matter if you've got loads of content or very little content on your opponent, what I personally feel anyway, because see, on the night that you fight them, they're either going to be the best of their ability or they're going to be the worst because they can't handle. They're either going to rise to the pressure or they can't handle the pressure. If you see clips of any opponent or of any fighter on YouTube or clips on their social media, the chances are they're a totally different fighter now, because the last 11 months have not competed. And in his case, the last 5-6 years he's not competed that I know of anyway. So in a way, if when people go and study me, I've improved so much over the last 11 months, and like, I've only fought 5 minutes in the past few years. So when you're studying me in old fights, you're not studying me, because that's not the skill set. If you think whatever you're studying for then, that's not the skill set that I'm bringing in this fight. So in a way, it's kind of irrelevant, and that's the way that I'm training for.
Right, so
I have to be ready for anything, and no matter if he throws 1,000 punches or tries to shoot 1,000 takedowns, I have to be ready for that. And at the end of the day, see, if you're not ready for it and he comes out on top, then you've got information to go back to the gym. If you go in and you win, you've got information to go back to the gym, and that's what this journey is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, with the location that this guy comes from, it adds a certain mystique of.
I think it's exciting. Like, I fought people around the world, in the UK, Ireland, Japan. I've not fought anyone from Dagestan yet. So it ticks off another country to fight someone and get a victory over.
And a lot of your friends and family, I can imagine, you're essentially fighting Khabib.
I've not heard that one yet, but if Khabib drops up, then I'll fight him on the night of the fight. I won't care. It's as simple as that.
No, and that's the attitude that you need as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. When it comes to, say you get offered a fight, right, and you get offered a fight in 6 months, you'll be like, I don't know, or you maybe have your second thoughts, or you'll either say yeah without thinking about it. But see, as the fight approaches, like my opponent was a replacement 4 weeks out, and Dean asked me what I thought. He's like, think on it. He knows my answer would be yeah, but he's like, just think on it and get back to me. And a couple hours later, I said to him, I was like, as soon as he said that to me, that there's another guy, I just mentally switched. That's why I'm fighting now, because I'm at the point in the fight preparation, and it's the exact same right now, 10 days out from the fight, that it doesn't matter who steps in. This guy might pull out as we're speaking right now. Just get me a replacement. All that I'm focused on. I'll be there to fight on the 7th of August, and I'm bringing my best.
Because that was something I was going to ask, actually. See, because the guy hasn't fought in such a long time, did you have any reservations about him taking this fight in such short notice, that the chance of the fight falling through could increase?
No, the fight can fall through at any point, no matter what. So for me, like I said, all I was focused on, that I'll be there for the 7th of August, and I said to Dean, like, just you make sure someone's there to fight me. That's it, and I'll be there. That's my mindset going into it. If he pulls down, as long as you just get me anyone, doesn't matter.
Did they give you any reasoning how the first fight fell through?
I think, to be honest, I think the guy wasn't training hard enough, and I think he likes to tell Instagram that he's working hard, but he's not actually working hard. So, in my opinion, see, when that's the case, and not just singling that guy out, but if that's the case, we're all professional athletes here. We're not amateurs anymore. So see, if you're pulling out of fights because any other excuse than like injuries or family stuff or genuine excuses, and you should have a black mark next to your name. If you're not taking this serious, we're professional athletes.
And but I think they will. But I think if a fighter gets a bit of a reputation for pulling out, that shows aren't going to want to book them. And we've heard it happening before, like especially in the local scene. Like, as you say, guys want to be on Instagram. They want to like show videos of them hitting pads. They want to go to sparring on a Friday night and kind of maybe be the top dog in sparring, but they don't want to go into that kind of like real fight environment.
Yeah, people think that they're injured off like maybe like a sore finger or a sore toe. Like, that's not an injury. Like, that's just part of the game. But like I said, people want to work hard for social media, but not willing to actually step up to the plate when push comes to shove.
And if that's how it is, it's probably better that the guy didn't win the cage for you next week, because we've been seeing your footage and it looks like we could be seeing the best version of Reece McEwan. Is that how you're feeling as well, especially with the restrictions being lifted, so you're able to go out to higher level more, you're able to train with the likes of Scott Malone, who actually vacated the belt that you're fighting for, so that must be a bit of fun with you and Scott, that you're a bit like, look, I'm coming for your old belt.
No, I've actually not spoke to Scott about it. It was Dan, the promoter, who said to me months ago that I knew he was moving into flyweight, but it's funny because my last two fights on Evolution of Combat have been the co-main event to. The first fight was a title eliminator, and the second fight it was to Scott Malone, who obviously won the belt, and Kieran O'Brien. I think that's Kieran's second name. I hope it is.
Kieran O'Brien.
Yeah. So, and then obviously my third. It's almost like coming up the ladder each fight, and then now this fight I'm fighting for the title. But again, the title's cool. It's just visualize, like an extra piece of visualization. Like, I just think about getting my hand raised and getting a belt wrapped around me, and then after that it's about moving on to the next one. Had 9 amateur fights, 6 of those were title fights, so I've got plenty of experience in preparing for a title fight. Just because it's professional, it doesn't make any difference. It's just another step in the journey.
Because does it feel any different being the main event?
No, no, like your first, see wherever you're placed in the card, it doesn't make a difference. You're fighting on the 7th of August at night time. That's it.
Yeah.
Your first couple of fights, right? You're like, oh, I'm like, I remember my second fight, I was like, oh, I'm like the third last fight, or those wee things become a big deal because it's new. But the more experience you get, it doesn't matter where you're placed in the card. I think I've been co-main event for more than half my fights. It just makes no difference. You're just on that fight card and you're fighting on that night. If it happens to be that I'm the first fight of the night, then it just means I turn up to the venue a little bit earlier. I warm up a little bit earlier, and I've got more time after my fight. But that's it.
Because it must feel good as well. Let's see now restrictions are starting to be lifted, that you can actually go and watch the other guys fight, but you can go and watch Cameron, whereas like before it was just a straight in and out job, wasn't it? Like
the way the venue was, like, you were able to watch fights from like the cafe,
right?
I don't really know what the script will be because there will be crowds, but I'll make sure that I'll watch. I'll grab a few fights and soak in the atmosphere before my fight, and I'll get in and feel the cage and my usual stuff. Just get familiar with the environment.
And that's one of the main things. Just starting to develop a bit of familiarity around it. Is that something that you work on in training?
Yeah, I would say I work on it every day. Like, the thought of fighting puts me to sleep. Like, right. I go to my bed and I'm like thinking about the fight, and I'm replaying, and I'm visualizing, and I'm thinking how the fight might play out, or walking out, and different weighing in, like everything that I'm going to be doing, everything that's hearing the crowd go, and entering the second round, entering the third round, like in good positions and bad positions, just visualizing as many things as that I can, to be honest. So yeah, it plays a massive part. It's part of the mental preparations for the fight.
Because I know that's something that they do over in higher level. Like over in higher level for like big spars before fight night, they do the whole shebang. They do the walkout and stuff like that. Do you buy into that is something that you kind of need to get familiar with and start to kind of drill in your brain. So when it happens for the first time and you hear your music, it doesn't feel so alien.
Well, 100%, because you have to be training. Why would you go into the biggest night of your life? The biggest this is what all your training's prepared for, like focused on, and you've not prepared for the night of the actual mental. You're not mentally prepared for it. Again, we silly things like when it's my big sparring session, I wear my fight shorts. Like I'll wear my, like, I was going to say wear my cup. That's a lie. I only wear my cup like 2 weeks before the fight. But I hate wearing it. But you prepare and get as comfortable as the environment you're going to be in. You'll never be able to replicate it. But like my walkout song, for instance, I don't really like to listen to it unless it's like fight time, or like, because that's my song. That's my song to fight. That's me visualizing the fight. So if I'm on a night out or whatever, I wouldn't just casually listen to that song, because then my mind's away. I'm not enjoying my life. My mind's away and thinking about the fight. So yeah, 100%. And anyone who doesn't buy into that, you're not training the right way.
Because I've kind of got a question to ask about the fight gloves. Like, see the gloves you wear in fight night. Do you get them before the event?
Yeah, so I've only fought, when I fought pro, I fought in Dean's old Cage Warriors gloves. Dean's last fight in Cage Warriors, he got given a pair of gloves because someone needed his gloves, so he asked for a pair, a small pair, to take away with him, and he gave them to me after his last fight. He says, because he knew that's where I wanted. That's like that was a goal of mine, Cage Warriors, the UFC, and he just basically said, like, there you go, like they're your gloves now. Like, if that's something that you're aiming for, then here you go. And I kept them in my room until I turned pro. Then I started wearing them, and I wore them my last 2 fights, and I'll wear them this fight, and I wear them in training quite a lot.
Right, that's a good idea from him, to be fair, because just as you were saying that, I was kind of just metaphorically like envisioning the kind of passing of the torch.
Yeah, I guess so. But again, see, if I turn up to the show and Dan's like, "Oh, we've got these gloves for you that we want to wear," cool. Like just because you're mentally prepared and you visualize for these things doesn't mean it's going to go that way. But there's been many occasions in fights where it's not really. I wouldn't say it's perfectly. It goes out as perfect as you think it will be. But that's it. That's you were prepared for that. You were prepared for a wee bit upset. The last fight there was no crowds. That's so different. But you prepare for that.
Yeah, that's what your kind of training camp's for. That's where the whole visualization.
Well, it's comfortable as well. Like, see my pro debut, I remember in the cage first.
Yeah.
Right. So basically most of my amateur career, I went in the cage last. So I jokingly said to Dean, Guy, and Ian, like, I was like, "What's this about?" I was like, "This is the third fight in a row that I've been first in," and they started laughing. And Guy's like, "Focus," and I'm like, "But I'm focused. I'm just relaxed. Like, I'm just so cool, so composed." But I've got a wee chip on my shoulder that I'm the main guy here and he's coming in second. But it's just a peaceful thought.
Yeah.
That I know that because I'm thinking that way, I'm in the moment, I'm relaxed, I'm comfortable in that environment. I'm not overwhelmed by the situation. And at the same time, I'm not taking the situation seriously. I'm still focused.
No, absolutely. I get what you mean there, and you were touching on your kind of corner there as well, because you're the only pro fighter out of Grip House at the moment, aren't you?
I think so, yeah.
How does that? How do you like that, or would you rather there was more, or do you feel you get a lot of the guys' attention? You get a lot of Guy Ramsey's attention, who is one of the absolute geniuses of the striking game. Like, I can't speak highly enough of that guy for what I've seen and what I've heard. And you've got a lot of Dean Riley's time as well.
And a lot of Ian Martins as well. It's it depends on the environment you're at. Like if I walk in, like for instance, like if you walk into a gym where there's 50 professional fighters, if they're surrounded by a good coach and good coaching staff or good like team in general, it doesn't matter how many people are on the mat. It's about what you're willing to show them to an extent. Like if I don't even say I'm in a room full of 50 people and I apply myself the way I apply myself, I still feel that I'll get the coach's time because he knows it's going to pay off. If I'm in a room and I'm the only person in the room, then I'm going to get the coach's time because I'm willing to give them. I'm not going to waste their time. So it doesn't really, in a sense, it doesn't come come down to like the mat or whatever. It comes down to the environment as a whole. I'm surrounded by top coaches, I'm top training partners, and I've got a very supportive network and I'm always getting better. So I always, to answer that question as well, I always feel like, say you're in a class full of people, whether it be professional fighters or amateur fighters or people that don't compete, it's up to you to take that information on board. So it's kind of on you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
And also as a fighter, like thinking about one-to-one attention, like why should you feel that if I'm in a room full of 20 people, all those 20 people should get treated the same? Again, it's on me to take that information. If that makes sense.
yeah, because even though like you're like a pro guy in there that you don't, it's like you deserve the same time as the amateurs.
Yeah, that would be that.
Amateurs deserve that as well.
Everyone deserves the same
Yeah,
time. It's about you to
absolutely.
get the most out of your session, because if for instance, if Dean takes training and he's got 20 guys in the mat, those 20 guys should be working as hard as each other and try to get as much from that session as possible. If he's got people who, if I walk into a room and if I'm the worst or if I'm the best and I think I should be getting treated any differently, that's not the right attitude. And you will be in a, there'll be times that the more you train, there'll be times that you're in a mat and you're the best guy on the mat, and then there'll be times where you're the worst guy on the mat. But it doesn't mean that you're going to have an easy day or a bad day. You should be focusing yourself and try to get better in that session.
Do you feel that's important though? Like, see, although you could be the best guy in the gym, do you feel it's important to then go out your comfort zone and go to a gym or go to a session? Like, see if you're the best striker in your gym and you're an MMA, do you feel it's important to go to the grappling classes where you might be the worst guy in the mat, because then you really get pushed to your limits more than if you're in kind of cruise control?
I think, like, if you look at people, like, for instance, like you spoke about guys, so Guy could be a perfect example. In a sense, like, you would argue that Guy's been the best person in his gym for like 20 years, right? But he turns up to the gym every day, he's motivated as anything, and he's always taking information on board.
Yeah,
He runs the gym. He doesn't need to do that. Same with Paul McVeigh. Like, anyone who runs a gym, like, they've essentially one day they've been the best in their gym, and they've been consistently bringing guys up to be better and better. And some of these guys will take over them or whatever, but no matter how good you are or how good your training partners are, or how not so good they are compared to you, you should be turning up every day trying to make yourself better and making yourself feel uncomfortable. If you're training to just win all the time, then that's cool, that's fine. But if you're training to get better, you put yourself in uncomfortable positions, you'll take yourself out of, and you'll be trying new things all the time, and you'll be trying to help the people around you like they helped you. Because
yeah.
there was a day I walked in the gym and knew absolutely nothing, and the amount of people that gave me their time was unbelievable, and the amount of people that still give me their time is unbelievable. Why? Because they want to help the people around them.
Because that must be a great feeling as well. It must be a great feeling for going for that young, kind of fresh faced guy in the gym who was looking up to like the likes of Paul McVeigh and seeing what he was doing and going, I hope to get there one day. And then now you're the guy that people come to in the gym, because I see you do a lot of like PTs as well. Like, you take a lot of guys who might not have a great striking background, and you're actively giving them time out your day. Although it's a bit of a job as well, but even just giving them that time, that's invaluable for them.
I appreciate you saying that, but I don't feel that way at all. Like, I feel like every day I go to like the grip house, I always feel grateful that I'm able to go there, because there was a day in my life where I wanted to train there. There was
Yeah,
a day in my life where I went on a night out and somebody says, you need to go and train with Ingo Martin. And the first thing I done is I went and trained with Ingo Martin. So every time I go and train with these guys, or like Dean, pro fighter, I was like actually like nervous to speak to him and Paul. And Paul was the guy I wanted to train with, because I seen I want to train the same gym as Paul McVeigh. So every time I'm in the room or in their gym, I'm like, there was a day in my life where this is where I want to be and this is where I'm at. So I need to keep working, because I can't take this opportunity for granted. So I don't feel that I'm like that person. I just always feel that I'm that person in the room that's like trying to learn, no matter how many fights I've had or what's happened behind me. I've got that. cliche, but that white belt mentality where I'm like, I don't think about how many fights or much experience I've gained over the years. I just think about what's next and what could be learned. And if people do want to ask me for help, I don't think, look, I'm this pro fighter, of course I'll help you. I'm like, well, I've got information that's been passed on to me and by people in this gym, and I'm going to pass on that to you. If you value my opinion, I'll give you my opinion, of course.
Because we've kind of covered this question to a degree, but I feel this one's really quite important because it's something that you do quite regular. So, like, how important is it to actually travel around the other gyms in Scotland? And would you recommend this to other fighters? I know you need like your core base. I know you need like your head coach who almost at times knows you better than you know yourself. But it must just be so invaluable to get other great minds' opinions and just see what else is happening across the country.
Yes, it's I think after my you're just looking to go out and learn as much as possible. After my second fight, I went to America, and then a couple of years later, I went to America again. And I know a lot of people go to these countries to like for a training camp because they've not got maybe they're looking for like good level, like a different level of training that they're getting back home. But for me, I just wanted to go out and enjoy training and train 2 weeks. The first time it was I want to see what this life would be like for 2 weeks with no work and no other commitments. And when I came back, it was like I need to make this my life. The second time I went, it was incredible. Trained with so many people. I've got great experiences, and now I do travel. I feel like I do travel a lot just to get to the grip house because I live so far away. But if again, it's not really my place to say. If people want to go and travel to other gyms, and then go for it. We're lucky that we've got a range of gyms across Scotland that we're friendly with, that we can kind of drop in, and guys can drop into us and we can drop into other gyms. And the more people you can train with and the more people that you can learn from, the better.
Absolutely, and I think that's quite invaluable information, especially in Scotland. Like Scotland, we're not a huge country. Like we're not like America, where one of their states is about the size or get the same population as Scotland. Like we're just kind of small fish in a big pond. So it should be we're all helping each other to help these athletes achieve their goals.
Well, of course, like you see people that are growing on the circuit. Like the first person that springs to mind lately is Chris Duncan being on the contender series. Like, that's amazing. I've only trained with Chris once, but like that's a guy who's fought alongside me and who's been on the circuit like a couple of years ahead of me, and now he's getting this shot, and I think he'll do incredible. And the better that the Scottish fighters do, the better like it is for the future of Scottish MMA. So I think as a country we can all stand together and support everyone that's doing well. And if you feel that if people think I want to go and train there for a day, all you really need to do is message the coach and you can drop in. Same if people want to drop in at the grip house, and we get a lot of people who drop in at the grip house. Obviously, not at the moment with the restrictions and stuff, but previously people would drop in all the time, and I love that.
Because that must be quite good as well. Because you mentioned Chris Duncan there. Like, I remember you and Chris Duncan fighting on the same show back in 2018. You fought him on Top Showdown, and that just looking back at that card, that just shows you like how important these regional fights can actually be. Because Chris Duncan was on it, who's fought in Bellator, and as you mentioned, is now on the Contender series. But it was also headlined by Chris Bungard.
Exactly.
Who's went over to Bellator, done amazing things. He's now running his own promotion as well. So
and years ago on Top, we've been to the home of like Danny Henry, Stevie Ray, Joanne Calderwood, Robert Whiteford. Like all these guys have fought, all these guys and girls have fought on the shows that we're all fighting on now. So it shows you that the dream can be possible and the roadmap's there for us to go and achieve. And even like just below the UFC and Cage Warriors, like people like Luke Shanks, Keira Harvey, Paul McBain, like Aidan Stevens, you could keep going on and on. Like people fighting all around the world now, and it's great.
Yeah, because that's it, and the scene is booming in Scotland, and it's fantastic to see because it feels like Scotland's starting to kind of make its way and hopefully start to kind of catch up with the rest. But I'll just fire one last question at you, and it's one of the most wide-o questions I think you get in an interview. But what's your fight predictions? Well, what's your fight prediction for your fight?
For my fight?
Yeah.
I think it'll be a round 2 or round 3 finish. I think that a round 2 or round 3 finish. It's hard to say like how I'll finish it. I would probably say TKO, strikes, or submission. I don't really know. I'm going to leave that open. But round 2 or round 3, I'll break the guy down. I'm not here. I'm here I'm preparing for 50 minutes of hard work, breaking that guy down and winning.
Because do you feel like your last 2 fights on the pro circuit have both came from submissions? Do you feel a wee bit of onus that you want to show your striking a bit more? And you
I know how good of a striker I am. I've had 2 kickboxing fights. I've knocked 2 people out. I know how good I am. I don't need to. If people have got doubts over how good I am, then they can come in and fight me. To be honest, I know I've got a lot of confidence in my ability. I know I'm an all-rounded fighter. It just, if people can't defend my takedowns, I'll show you how good my striking is. But if I go to take somebody down and they can't defend my takedown, tough love. I hope that answers your question.
It does. But no, Reece, thank you very, very much for your time. I know it's a busy week for you. You're finally getting into fight camp. You're getting into fight mode, and you can see it a wee bit more with you. That see for the last interview, that kind of more relaxed Reece. Like you can see that you're in fight mode and you are ready to go warm next week. And it's,
I'm telling you, fight day is the easiest day of my life. Honestly, it is. It's the most peaceful I am. See, I go into the cage, I don't need to worry about saying the wrong thing or being not anxious, but being like nervous for anything. Like this interview, I'm not nervous for it because I'm saying what's on my mind and I know that like I'm saying my beliefs and stuff. But like when I go into a fight, I don't need to worry about anything. There's no worry. All I need to do is go and put my skills to show, and that's where I thrive. It's the easiest. It's the easiest day of my life. It's the best day. Brilliant.
And we wish you all the best. And I can't wait to be there to see it because I've managed to get tickets.
You have double tickets.
It's the first time I've been to an MMA event in so long, just because of the whole corona. So everyone's excited. The fighters are excited. The fans are excited. Guys for the media are now excited. It's a winning combination. But I'll let you get going because I know it's a very busy day for you today.
Thanks very much, mate. Thank you very much for your time as well. And thanks to everyone for watching.
No, thank you very much. And we'll catch you later, guys.